I think it's pretty unlikely, you'd have to say, given that we know that, from what I see, the Democratic Unionist Party, that is those 10 MPs that effectively prop up the government, they don't seem to be happy. We know there are a lot of hard Brexiteers within the Conservative Party who are extremely unhappy, and it seems that, so at a minimum, therefore, you are going to need some support from the Labour opposition, and Jeremy Corbyn seems to have set these very high bar in terms of his 6 tests for determining whether Labour would support it, and I think he's basically put himself in a position where his priority is to try and bring the government down and secure an early election, and therefore I think there could well be a 3-line whip to order Labour to vote against it. So on that basis, I'd say it's very much odds off that we can get this through. What I think is really interesting is that very last comment that you've just played from Margaret Thatcher, did I really say that? From Theresa May saying that not leaving is a possibility. I mean, that I think is really crucial here, because I think when we think about how this plays out, if we do get to that point where this deal gets rejected by Parliament, then that really opens up the possibility of a second referendum. And I think that's where the uncertainty factor is so high here in terms of just how binary the potential outcomes are for financial markets and sterling. Okay, so you don't think that we would then, if this doesn't get passed, proceed to the hard Brexit option, which is, of course, on the table come March next year. You suspect that they would go back and potentially try and hold another referendum then? Both of those are options. There's now 3 options on the table, isn't there? There's that we reject this deal and we crash out next March, which is the worst possible outcome, I think, economically and as far as financial markets are concerned. We say, well, look, this is the best I think we can get. Parliament's rejected it. Let's see if there's a people's vote that will endorse that or perhaps countermand it. And then there's the one that says, OK, this is the best deal and can we corral the support of Parliament? So you've got 3 very extreme options here. And I think it's still almost impossible to say with any degree of confidence which one of those is the most likely. OK, Hadley's got a question for you.
Ray, how are you going to play this? Because as you mentioned, it's up in the air as to whether or not Ms. May is going to be able to seal this deal on Brexit. And certainly you've got a stronger dollar. Certainly, as much as Jay Powell's essentially said that he's very happy with the direction of the economy, he is still worried. And he's worried about what's happening globally. How do you play this? What's the down-the-middle strategy?
Well, as far as sterling, the strategy is to either pay an enormous amount of money for the optionality of sterling going up either a lot, meaning 10 to 15%, and going down, but the cost of that protection is obviously very big. If you have a hunch that you think we're going towards a hard Brexit, then you want to be short of sterling. If you think that, and I must say my gut feeling has been for the last 2 years that ultimately we're going to have a second referendum and that the UK is not going to leave, that's a personal view, then you can close your eyes and think about wanting to buy sterling here. As you say, the US dollar does clearly go into the mix here, and I don't think we learned anything really from Jay Powell about, to really upset prevailing thinking about just how far and how fast interest rates are likely to go up from here, and that obviously has bearing on the US dollar. So sterling is going to be a very sharp toy, to use an expression, and I think from the point of view of companies with foreign exchange exposure, our advice consistently in recent months has been that the risks are so high that you need to be hedging or covering that exposure, certainly as far as the next few months are concerned, because it may well be that we aren't going to get clarity over the next couple of weeks at least.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.